Buy, sell or rent your property with Century 21 and you could win a brand new 2-bedroom apartment on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. Visit c21prize.co.nz for your chance to win.
Welcome back to Your Property Empire. Well, joining me on the show tonight is Rob Southwell, Managing Partner of Pitcher Partners, and we've just been joined by Charles Tarbey, Chairman and owner of Century 21. Well, during the week we had an email in from a lady called Paula in Brisbane, and she asked, my mum has offered to give me $200,000 in order to pay for a renovation on our family home. Her only condition is that the gift and the corresponding capital growth doesn't form part of our joint assets if my husband and I divorce in the future. Now, my husband was furious when he heard and wants nothing to do with it. What should I do? Now, that's a curly question.
You have to start with me,
We'll start with each other. Well, the first question I've got for you is, how common is it for parents to give gifts to their kids these days?
Most parents would give gifts to their children if they could. Most parents would. And I think it is not uncommon, but it is a really, really difficult process in the sense of from an emotional point of view. It can get very, very, very nasty. And I understand, I was thinking $200,000 that she'd like to...
Yep.
I was thinking, Amy, can you ask your mum if she can give me a couple of $100,000? I promise to be okay with it all. I think that the biggest issue I've found is that most people, for some reason, they forget what they said. And unless they do it absolutely correctly, absolutely legally, black and white, we'll draw up an agreement between us and a bit of paper. If you don't do it accurately, you will have problems. Because half of us can't remember what we did 3 minutes ago, let alone what we talked about 3 years ago.
Very, very true. Now, Rob, we'll come on to the...
Charles was probably often forgetting where he left the 200 grand as well.
What are the tax consequences of either giving or receiving a gift?
Well, there's no gift tax in Australia, so a pure gift is a windfall gain. It's not taxable to the person that receives it.
So we do get something free from the ATO?
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit like winning the lottery, although I don't know if you put this as a lottery.
Is there a limit to what you can?
No, from an income tax perspective, no. If it's a pure gift, then no. But it's not tax. There's no limit. I think that there's social security implications. So quite often people get those.
This is not before tax, is it?
No.
Okay, I get 200.
Well, yeah, and then obviously gifting things in business arrangements is a different kettle of fish. But in this case, no, there isn't tax on gifting. But you have to be careful, particularly for mum and dad if they've got social security pension or a health card. There is certain things that you can't just gift away assets to reduce your assets for those purposes.
But obviously in the UK then there is a gift thing, but you've got to last 7 years if it doesn't come out of normal income. And obviously we're not giving UK tax advice either,
sure.
But different countries will have different things. So if your parents were in a foreign country, then there could be different connotations.
Absolutely.
The difficult part with this too, Chris, is if a parent does get involved and they want to be legally involved or part of the transaction, it can actually be even more dangerous for them, because if something goes wrong and the couple default and they have issues, then they'll go back to the person with the most money.
Yeah.
And if the family member has another asset, they're going to go for that asset if there's a shortfall.
And so again, that was going to be my question to you, is do you think they should always get legal advice to not only document what's happening, but also get legal advice to see if there's consequences? Because you've got a mortgage company as well. And so again, if that came from equity, the whole parent's house could potentially be at risk.
Oh, look, the banks have cracked down on it significantly over the years because some parents did lose their homes by offering some form of security, and I think it's a very dangerous position to be in. And first of all, some banks won't lend because of it, and secondly, as I said earlier on, if you really don't put it in writing, it changes so much, Chris. It changes.
Now,
very
Rob,
dangerous.
I've heard of people, this is a normal, not a normal thing, but I thought it was understandable. But when I heard that the mum effectively wanted a percentage of the future capital growth based on the renovation, now that gets pretty complicated.
Yeah, we've actually done it before. I term it's like an equitable mortgage loan. We see it's very common that parents will lend their kids money, but it's done usually, particularly in where you've got dubious marital situations, or people are not certain about it, or they just don't like the son-in-law in this case, actually just putting it in as a genuine loan, often with a mortgage, a second mortgage if they can, to actually secure the principal. On limited occasions we do actually see documented equitable mortgages where if you borrow a certain amount and that represents X value of the house, when they sell it in 10 years' time, they get that X percentage of whatever they sell it for.
Can you imagine, though, if the parent got involved and the parent passed away and then there were other siblings? Could you imagine?
I would never ever recommend it in this situation.
Yeah.
I've only seen it in more commercial situations.
I think they should separate from the guy, take the cash and get back together.
200 grand, you reckon?
There you go.
So just for time, any quick tips on this for the mother or the daughter or the husband?
I think you could do it in a way which is protects the mother's interest without, I guess, annoying the couple. But I mean, if I was in that situation, I'd probably run screaming from it, to be honest. For over 200 grand, yeah, it's not worth it.
Now, for more ideas on investing in property, you can always download a copy of my book for free. Just go to yourempire.com.au. I don't think we cover this situation, and I'm not sure if I'd recommend it. It's certainly a can of worms. But Charles, let's jump to you and jump into the numbers. Clearance
thank
rates.
you. They're actually down this week over last week, which is very, very interesting. They came in at 76.4%, not much down, but down nonetheless. Still higher than this time last year, which was 72.1%. So they're pretty good. Sydney topped the lot again, 80% neat. Once you take in all of the transactions after the auction, is where it came in. And Adelaide came in also at a good rate. It came in at 76.7, but Melbourne came in at 78.7, second place. And I think still it's a very, very healthy clearance rate right across the country in comparison. We're expecting more, obviously, but gosh, there was an article out in the Herald today and New Zealand Herald about we've got 6 weeks in Australia to make some decisions or our market is going to collapse. Now, that's the latest article out in a newspaper in Auckland that was sent to me today.
Interesting stuff. What about homes advertised for sale?
They're down 0.26%. Again, from this time last year, we're up 4.91, but we need them now, and the stock's down. New Zealand recovered at plus 2.2%. They'd been going negatively for a while there, so they're doing better than us, but we really need some stock big time. Big time.
We do.
Yes,
Rent price movements.
Yes. Well, they shot up quite dramatically if you look at the chart. I mean, we're only incremental, but the chart shows a big jump. We had an increase of 0.96% over this time last week. The best performer was Sydney at 0.28%, and that was followed by Adelaide, of all places, 0.27%, then followed by Melbourne at 0.21% climb. So, all in all, not bad. Not bad for the landlords overall.
And finally, the vacancy rates.
Dangerous time again. It's really climbed up significantly. Sydney still fine at 2.57, Melbourne at 3.24, but Perth, I never thought it would get this high. It's now at 9.88%, almost ready to breach 10%. Those three capital cities are giving us an average of 5.23, and that's the highest it's been for a very, very long time. So eyes on Perth again.
So is there certain properties that are doing that, or is it across the board in Perth?
In Perth, for me, I take a base of the north, the city and the south, three bases, and so it covers most of those areas. And it's off a portfolio that I have, and it's quite a few thousand landlords. So it gives me a very good percentage, and I get that information today. So unless other agents are doing better than my company, and I think we're all pretty well averaged out there, those vacancy rates are real.
So it's pretty scary for an investor.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Yes, pretty scary. Mm.
OK, wonderful news.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Thanks, Charles Tarbey, Century 21. Rob Southwell, good to see you as well. Pitcher Partners.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us at home as well. We'll be back next week. Until then, I'm Chris Gray. Good night.
The information featured in this program is general in nature and therefore should not be relied upon. Guests appearing on the program may have commercial arrangements with some of the companies mentioned. Before making any investment, insurance or financial planning decisions, you should consult a licensed professional who can advise whether your decision is appropriate for you.